Are you a solopreneur or small business owner with a remarkable story to share, but uncertain about how to break through the noise and captivate the attention of media? Well, if so, you're in luck because my next guest is going to be sharing all about that and more. Welcome back. I am Jen Vasquez. Using my proven Pinterest marketing method, I help hyper-busy female service providers create one marketing workflow to book more clients, increase their income and impact in about an hour a week. And I host expert interviews on marketing and mindset and everything that will help you to grow your business. So if marketing is something that you want to learn and you want to take action in your business, I would love for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel or our podcast so that you're alerted every time we upload a new episode. Today, I'm so excited to be chatting with Amy L. Bartko of Chatterbox. Amy is a seasoned PR professional, juvenile brand expert, and founder of Chatterbox. She's a global expert in building brands and promoting products for families from pregnancy through childhood, with a keen grasp on unique niche of how to reach busy parents. Chatterbox strategically works with both online and brick and mortar brands, from startups to worldwide brands, supporting them from brand development and digital strategy to product placement, influencer, and celebrity marketing, traditional media, and consumer events. Prior to Chatterbox, she has had 25 plus years of strategic communication experience working for small to mid-sized companies in the baby and kid industry. Chatterbox clients have been featured in Forbes, Today.com, Today's Show, New York Times, Good Morning America, Time Magazine, Wall Street Journal, and so many more. Welcome, Amy. I'm so excited to get you on the podcast and YouTube.
Yes, thank you so much, Jen, for having me. I am super excited to dive deep into sharing with your audience how to properly, talk to the media and get their brands covered. So thank you for having me.
Of course. I always start with this question, but I know that I love this sort of windy road on how businesses get to where they are today in their business. So I'd love to find out what jobs came before and kind of what got you to the business that you're in today.
You know what? Thank you for asking that. I've been in sales and marketing, I feel like, my entire life. My entire adult career has been sales and marketing. And early on, I was in medical sales, which was great. And I really thrived in that environment. But then I went and had babies, and I go figure, right? So when I had my children, my time was spent, away from my house the entire day. Often I was gone from 6 to 6, and I couldn't handle that. So I quit medical sales and started, doing, working in marketing, part-time as a stay-at-home mom, and really kind of developing that work-life balance. And I just started, really into the PR and marketing aspect, advertising, really, helping brands guide their venture and how to be more present and visible to their consumers. And about, oh my goodness, Noah is 10. And so about 10 years ago, I started Chatterbox. And so
it's crazy. I swear so many cool businesses and entrepreneurs come from women having children. And, I started my first business in 2009 because I was tired of leaving before my 4 kids woke up and coming home after they've already been in bed in sales and marketing, just like yourself. And I was like, this is not the life that I want to live. And I think so many entrepreneurs and small business owners can really identify with that.
It's funny that you say that because, and I don't know if I'm jumping in too quickly, but the Chatterbox, I specialize in, like you had mentioned, the baby and kids space. And so I work with manufacturers and brands that develop products. And I will tell you that 75% of products that are developed in that baby and kids space are developed by moms, by parents that, not just moms, but parents that have, experienced this whole realm of raising kids and how this could be easier. So yes, a lot of products have been, birthed from, having kids themselves.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that, there's many things and ways that you can like work through having kids and still working. And I think moms are some of the most creative people at finding ways to accomplish all of that.
That is so true. I mean, we are like super moms and super women. Yes, we can get it all done. We're like octopus, yes.
And I feel like we have the best why. People always talk about the why of your business. And for me, it's to spend more time with my family. And in order to do that, I have businesses, and the businesses are set up so that I have like Tuesday all day to spend playing with my grandchildren on the ground. Like that is why I have the businesses that I have.
So true. Work-life balance is so important. I was talking with a friend who is still in medical sales, and she made the comment to me just a couple of weeks ago, there is no such thing as work-life balance. And all I could think of in my head is, it's because you're still in medical sales. So yeah, there is absolutely such thing as work-life balance, and I embrace it like all the time.
I know. When you're looking to pitch a journalist on behalf of your clients, what's one of the first things that you do before pitching? And so that people can apply kind of what you do for your clients to their own business?
Excellent question. And it's so funny because there are so many people that spray and pray. I know that is very much of a term in our PR, realm and space, but spray and pray is something that you should absolutely never do. Copy and paste a pitch, or mass pitch, that is absolutely something you don't do. So what I personally do before every single pitch, I look up the journalist on LinkedIn. I look them up on their social media platforms. I read their most recent articles that they've published. And I spend probably a good 30, 45 minutes on doing all of these steps before I even write the pitch. And the pitch should always be personal. You reference back to, what they did over the weekend, or what, you took from one of their latest articles. Like I recently pitched this one journalist, and it's funny because not all journalists will respond to you, but if you make it personal, then you are more likely to get a response. And she wrote an article in Real Simple about what a hot mess her linen closet was, her bathroom linen closet. And as I'm reading this article, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I am going to take every single one of her tips that she wrote in this article and tackle my own linen closet this weekend. And that's how I opened my email to her. It was like, thank you so much, because I need this so much, so badly in my life. I need you, I need my linen closet to be more organized. Within 10 minutes, she responded to me. So with that said, make it personal, make it, do not spray and pray. You're not going to copy and paste and get a response or get covered.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholly. Having a podcast and people that pitch to me on a regular basis. I'm very clear on my podcast. It's for women by women. And 65% of pitches are coming from men. And I'm like, did you even look at my podcast? Did you even listen to my podcast? Like, that is not helpful in any way, shape, or form. And anyone that says, I listened to this and this is how I connected the dots, or this is what it helped me do, I'm all over that. That is a pitch that I would absolutely want to reply to. I'm not a person writing articles in a magazine, but it's the same principle in my mind.
Well, and it's interesting that, you bring up the podcast, because I would equate podcast as being like the new Instagram. They are evolving over the course of the past couple of years. And if a brand is not pitching to a podcast, looking to be on a podcast, they absolutely should. I mean, I talk to every single one of my clients about being on a podcast. This should be in your life. Absolutely. And as a veteran PR, publicist, pitching podcasts, I used to pitch podcasts the same way that I would pitch the media, but it's still a little bit different, and I wouldn't, like 5 years ago, I wouldn't get responses, and I tweaked the way that, lessons learned, I tweaked the way that I was pitching podcast hosts, and my open rate is so much better and my response rate is so much better. So absolutely, it is exactly the same.
Yeah. And you mentioned, I was going to ask the number one don't, and you said don't spray and pray, which absolutely I fully agree with. But are there common mistakes or other mistakes that could really hinder the success of a pitch?
Mass pitching. If you mass pitch, you are very likely to not get your email opened, and they can tell.
Explain what mass pitch is so that people understand.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot of platforms, like, for example, we have Cision and Muckrack and, different PR platforms where you find journalist information. So if you're pitching through these platforms, it gives you the ability to click a box, and when you click the box for 100 journalists, then you're sending this email to 100 journalists at one time. So that is mass pitching, and that is the number one. Well, spray and pray and mass pitching are the two do nots. I mean, just don't do it, because they can tell. A journalist can tell if you're mass pitching. And the other way to mass pitch is just copy and paste a bunch of email addresses into one email. And
that goes back to your do, right? Which is to make it personal. And you can't make it personal if you're mass emailing or mass pitching.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Exactly that. Yes, absolutely.
It's crazy. If you could tell your younger self how to navigate the world of media and journalism, what would you tell yourself? So what valuable lessons have you basically learned from pitching to media?
relationships.
Ooh.
Relationships.
Instead of like one-off transactions, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny because I pride myself, even when I work with, brands, and it's all about the relationship you build with them. And when I'm working with a journalist, or a podcaster or an influencer and a celebrity for that matter, I really work hard at cultivating and nurturing the relationship. Because if you build that relationship, your email is going to get opened. If you are gifting them for, like celebrity and influencers for giftings, your box is going to get opened, and they are more likely to post about your product that you send them. So relationships and nurturing them over the course of time is extremely important, no matter who it is.
And how would that look in terms of building the relationship? I mean, obviously we don't want to be sending them 8,000 DMs and 8,000 emails on a daily basis, right? Like, because that's kind of stalking, right? So what would that relationship building look like?
It's getting personal, knowing who they are, knowing their children's names, knowing, are they married? Are they not married? Their likes and dislikes. And journalists are very open about having social media relationships with you. So, take that extra step and, find them on social media, find them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Journalists are on Twitter, like 90% of them are on Twitter and use that as a platform for their journaling. They ask for requests on Twitter all the time. So, but get personal with them.
Yeah, that's a great, there's so many times that people are not even following me on social media when they're pitching. And that's a little bit of, it is obviously better if I see them following me and they comment or they like some posts, and then I see a pitch in my email, I'm more likely to open that. So that I would totally agree with. What are some effective strategies? Because I find that researching takes a long time. Like you said, 30, 40 minutes, and probably because you have experience at it. But like, what are some strategies for researching and identifying the right journalists or the right media outlets to pitch so that you're ensuring that your story aligns with their interests and audience?
That's an excellent question. So for me, because I am in the baby and kids space, I have a Google alert set on my on Google for pregnancy, pregnant celebrities, baby and kid toys. I have a Google alert set on all the topics that are around what it is that I do. And so every morning I receive the Google alert, and then I'll look to see what articles have been written and who wrote those articles. So for me, it's twofold, because one, it tells me I guess really threefold. So what publication, are they writing in, who they are, and what products are they covering?
And making sure that aligns with your expertise.
Exactly. Yes, making sure that it aligns with my niche. Like, for example, I have my client Melly. They have feeding products, and they're a Canadian-based company, and they're brand new. And I just love their products. They're so fun and whimsical, and kids love them. So I have an alert set for, children's feeding products, toddler feeding products. I'll do searches to see who's writing about this, and also what other products are being covered. So then I take the next step and I'll search the products, the other competitor products to see what's being covered. And I'll take a deep dive into that. And so it really does open up this whole, world that it's like, okay, this person's covering this. And so, yeah, it's research and it takes a lot of time and a lot of people don't realize it. And that's why a lot of people do the spray and pray, because they don't take the time and the effort to go through these steps.
So smart. What role does storytelling play in a successful pitch, and how can our listeners and watchers infuse compelling narratives in their pitches so that it resonates with journalists?
So storytelling is very important, but one of the things you want to keep in mind is journalists receive about 1,000 emails a day. Okay, let me just say that again. 1,000 emails a day. And they're very select on what they open, so, and they have you have 2 seconds to capture their attention. So your opening, which again, you make it personal, that's going to tell them if they're going to read on. And then, you make these bullet points of what your product is. You keep it short, you keep it sweet, and you keep it scannable. You want to make sure that your email is scannable, because if you have this long email that's, 5 paragraphs long, it's likely they're not going to get past the first 2 sentences. But if you make bullet points of each of the different products that you are covering or pitching in that particular, pitch, then they're likely to scan it. You want to have links in it. You want to have images linked in it. Never send attachments. Never send attachments. That's going to end up right in their spam folder. And if your attachment is too large, then they can't open it, right? Often, it will end up bogging it down their inbox. So storytelling, back to your original question, is very important, but you want to keep it just very short and very sweet.
And you're right. Like what they say in that first sentence is going to tell me if I'm going to read on or not. Beyond that, if they're telling me like how they were listening to me while they were taking their kids for a walk, I'm going to feel connected to them, right? So yeah, I totally agree with that. And I always love to ask this question of my guests: what 3 things have helped you grow your business? These could be tools, advice, really anything, but what 3 things would you say have really helped you grow your business?
The number one thing that's helped me grow my business is my ability to build relationships. In my particular space of baby and kid, Chatterbox, and myself, people know who I am. And, I've worked with a lot of, people. So with brands, with journalists, with influencers, building relationships absolutely is my number one thing that has helped me build my business. And then I feel like number 2 would be the different areas that I've used to invest in myself to help me grow my business. I know you from the collective, and
that's that for all my listeners that have heard the Pitch Club and Rebecca Cafiero. We love that group. We have some amazing women there.
Absolutely. And just, relationships, that I've built in there. But, really investing in yourself, because if you, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times you kind of feel like you're on this island on your own. But if you invest in, mentor programs, or, continuing education, and just making sure that you're up to speed on what's happening in your space today. So I feel like that's number two. Actually, that might be that's probably a two-part. So maybe like number three would be knowing what is going on in my industry and my space. The landscape of journalism has changed drastically over the last 3 months, the last 6 months, the last 18 months. I mean, gone are the days of people working for, big magazine conglomerates. Today we have freelance. And the great thing about it is the relationships I built for the people that worked at, Hearst magazine, or, any of those big Meredith publications. They're no longer working there, but they're still journalists. And so now today it's actually even better, because they're freelancers, and, they're writing for 10 different magazines. So by pitching them, one pitch, one product, they have this buffet of publications they're working for, that they could, choose what it's going to be the best fit for.
And by building those relationships, they could end up reaching out to you because they know that you are an expert in your niche, and that they could get somebody to interview for any of those people that they tend to work for as freelancers.
Absolutely. And that happens all the time.
Yeah, so the relationships are big for sure. Before we get to the gift that you are generously sharing with our audience, tell everyone about the services that you provide, in case anyone listening and has a focus in your niche and they're like, I really need her help. Tell everyone what services you have.
Yes, thank you. So I do PR retainers. So where I actually would work with your brand to execute a PR strategy for you. I also have PR consulting, which, there are some brands that would like to take that service in-house. They just don't know where to start. So I develop a customized roadmap for you and teach you how to execute your own PR strategy in-house. I also do influencer and celebrity, which I tie that in with my retainer clients, but I do influencer and celebrity giftings quarterly. So like our gifting, we have a gifting coming right up, our fall gifting. And then we also have one for the holidays, where I have 10 influencers, 10 celebrities that I choose, and I gift them, a gift basket. And yeah, so I have those different services that I offer. So
very good. And now tell everyone about your freebie and how it will help our audience.
So if you click on the link in the show notes, you will receive a 12-page document that shows you 5 do's and don'ts when pitching the media. And it goes into great detail as far as what exactly to do, what you should not do, and the reason behind it. So
that is amazing. I cannot wait to download that myself. But I would love to know what the best way to get in contact with you is, in case anyone wants to take the conversation further.
Yes, absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn, Amy Bartko, and you can also email me. My email address will be in the show notes, but it's amy@chatterboxbrands.com. Those are the best ways to get in contact with me. So yeah, if you feel like you have any questions or anything, definitely reach out.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Amy, for coming, your valuable time, because time is money, and all of your valuable advice. And for everyone else, go out there and do something good for your business, like snagging Amy's gift so that you are thoughtfully and researching wise and connecting with stories when pitching your business to the media or for podcasts or whatever else. And thank you so much for being here, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun, and talking with you, on this platform, it's great. So I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.